Hello all, welcome to my video. In this particular video, I'm actually going to talk about a very important concept or a t- topic based on my experiential insights. So to begin my video, let me actually quickly introduce myself. My name is Balaji. I have been in the IT field for almost 24 years, and I have somewhere close to 15 plus years of experience in Agile. Okay, so in this particular video, what I actually thought is let me go ahead and then share you my experiential insights in actually terms of being a interview panel member for multiple Agile jobs or roles for the past 8 to 9 years. Okay, so what am I going to do is I have already crafted 15 very, very inevitable and important agile uh, interview questions, and then now I'm going to share the questions to you, and then I'm also going to set the context behind all these particular questions. Okay, see, I also understand that the interview questions are actually typically driven by your JD, by the resume, and also based on the business operating model of the client or the company, and most importantly the answers provided by you to your previously asked question by the interviewer. However, having been said this, I just wanted to share in this particular video some of the top 15 agile interview questions which is actually going to come for sure despite any kind of a role that you are going to attend, right? Be it a scrum master, be it an RTE, be it an agile coach or a project manager or a product owner or a product manager or a change agent or an agile transformation lead or a consultant, whatever be the role, somewhere wherever there is an inevitable touch point of agile, you are going to have this particular 15 agile interview questions. From that perspective, I'm just trying to help you people through this particular video so as to contribute to the larger agile community. Okay, now having been said that this is the context of this particular video, if it makes relevance to you people, please go ahead and then continue to watch this particular video of mine, and please feel free to share this video to your friend circle, your colleagues, your peers, your contact circle, your clients or customers, of course, as appropriate to the context. Okay, so let me just go ahead and then I will quickly share the Word document, what I have actually prepared and then kept it for you people. Just a minute, please. Okay, now if you look into this particular Word document, right, I have actually given 15 agile questions. Okay, now let us actually begin the journey one by one. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, so the first question is, I'm actually going to talk about, okay, now let's say you are the candidate. Now you are actually applying for a agile coach role, or it could be a scrum master, or it could be an RT, or a project manager, or an agile transformation lead or a consultant, whatever be the role. If the interviewer is an experienced guy, definitely he will start the interview to give a quick summary view of your profile. He will be asking you to give a quick summary view of your profile, and then most importantly, describe your agile career journey in IT. See, in my agile mentorship program, AMP, as you might be knowing, which I actually do from March 2021, I generally tell my mentees, do not just provide answer to the question. Always try to answer the intention behind the question. By asking a particular question, what does the interviewer wanted to know from me in terms of my skill set, in terms of my competency, capability, mindset? What is that the interviewer wanted to test? Which particular aspect or dimension of me by asking a particular question? If you know the intent behind the question, believe me, any question you can easily crack it. Of course, you need to have a subject knowledge on it, which I never deny, but you need to know the intention behind the question. Now, in this particular video, I am actually going to give you people what could be the intention behind all these particular questions one by one. Because see, I can might as well give you some sample answers, which is not a big deal for me. However, the problem is from those answers, if your interviewer is asking you a second level question or a third level question, believe me, you will not be able to justify it unless and until you have a real time experience, or unless and until you have prepared so much by actually connecting with a coach or a mentor who had already done it. Answers from ChatGPT will not guide you beyond a certain stage, right? You may be able to clear the first round of interview, but then what about the second round, third round, and the client interview? Now, just to stay focused from my end, in the first question, describe your agile career journey. The interviewer wanted to know, it is not just about listing your jobs. You also need to tell the evolutionary journey of you, from where you started, maybe from a developer, and then you moved to a test lead or a tech lead or a QA lead, then you became a project manager, then you became a scrum master, RTE, a team level agile coach, then a program coach, and then enterprise coach. So the interviewer wanted to know the evolutionary journey of you, so as to check whether you have a practical learning curve, whether you have a pragmatic insight to whatever you are trying to do, or whatever you had indeed already mentioned in your resume. That is the context, the intent, and the purpose behind the first question. Now, if you go to the second question, can you tell me the top three challenges you have faced in your agile journey? See, this particular question is of a paramount importance, because it is the interviewer wanted to see whether you know how to practically, okay, do you have that experience of a problem solving capability? Are you aware of the common issues? Okay, so just to give a context or some kind of sample answers to this particular question is, some of the challenges could be from the product space of agility. Some of the challenges could be from the agile process mechanism. Some of the challenges could be from a regulatory or a governance or a compliance aspects. Some of the challenges could be pertaining to the communication and stakeholder engagement. Some of the challenges could be pertaining to the team dynamics. Challenges could come from n number of ways. So be it. But how did you respond to it? That makes the difference between a candidate A versus a candidate B, right? So this question is of paramount importance. Any agile job, you will be asked what are the top three challenges, what are the top five challenges, and most importantly, how did you overcome it? Because see, we have enough problems in the world. No one is interested to just talk about problems, right? Everyone wants solution, and bigger the problem you solve, bigger will be the return to you, right? So in this question, definitely you should be prepared about to talk some of the challenges. Okay, now the important point to be kept in mind is, if you have already been done there, if you have already handled umpteen challenges in umpteen transformations, be it a strategic transformation, be it an agile transformation, be it a digital transformation, answers will come naturally as a poem, right? Generally, people who write some poem, they do not just think and write. Answers will flow naturally, intuitively. However, if you have not done it hands-on, probably you may need to connect with a person who has already done it, been there, okay, and the person who can walk the talk. So go to them, have some coaching conversations with them to get those pragmatic insights. Of course, you can take pointers from your Google, your ChatGPT, your YouTube videos, but the problem with those things is, from that answer, if the interviewer asks you a second level, third level question, will you be able to justify? So you know your strength, right? So accordingly, play the game like in a wise manner. That's my say. Now, coming back to the third question, what kind of metrics do you capture and report to your senior management? This is going to check, or your metrics are more towards value, or it is just a vanity metrics, right? Are you really focused on creating a value centric or just a vanity metrics. Now, if you take from my experience, right, if someone asks me, hey Balaji, what are the metrics you have captured, I will not jump into directly giving answers to the metrics. I will talk about the different quadrants or segments or categories in which you can actually segregate the metrics, like predictability, productivity, responsiveness, quality, flow efficiency. Some of the metrics are pertaining to the product space of agility. Some metrics are pertaining to the process related metrics. Some metrics are pertaining to the technical agility or DevOps related metrics. Some of the metrics are related to the business outcomes like a CSAT, NPS, product brand index, better go-to-market strategy, profit margin, revenue margin, EBIT, EBITDA, CAGR, compounded annual growth rate. But the point here is someone watching my YouTube video can might as well replicate the same metrics in the interview. Not a problem. However, the problem comes if the interviewer asks you a second question. Hey, okay. So by the way, so how do you measure your EBITDA? The problem. So when you learn a subject, you will need to know at a surface level or a shallow diving, it's not going to help you. In fact, half knowledge is more dangerous than total ignorance, right? So from that perspective, try to really understand the subject and master the subject, not just for the sake of clearing an interview and grabbing offer letters. Because what are you people going to do by collecting offer letters, and tomorrow when you have a challenge, when you are really put inside a critical project or a engagement, right? So just try to think through from that particular perspective. In this video, I am trying to play the role of an improvement enabler for you people to probably guide you, of course, based on limited my experience, with a good intent to add value to the agile community. Okay, now let's go to the fourth one. How did you handle your overall agile transformation in your organization? This question is very important, because it is not just about implementing frameworks. It is not just about doing your ceremonies. You also need to know the principles behind practices. What is your agile transformation strategy in terms of outcome based plan, in terms of OKRs, in terms of GQM, goal question metrics? What is the overall strategy that you have adopted when you are trying to do your agile transformation? Now, just a thought popped up in my mind, so I'm just going back to the third question. In terms of the metrics, right, you can might as well classify the metrics into team level metrics, program level metrics, and portfolio level metrics. You can also classify the metrics based on the framework also: Kanban based metrics, safe based metrics, Scrum based metrics. Because if you're taking safe, right, you have something called a PPM, your program predictability measure report. Similarly, there are umpteen ways to classify the metrics, but still what you do with metrics depends on your individual capability. Your Scrum, Kanban, safe is not going to do any magic unless and until you have the capability to strategize it on the go. Okay, now coming back to the fourth question, what I was trying to tell is, for some of my clients in the past, I have created something like an outcome based plan. I have created something like an OKR driven agile transformation, OKR driven building product roadmaps. And I have also implemented the concept of a GQM, goal question metrics. So a strategy is something which is very particular to that engagement or the context. So believe me, if your interviewer is really a smart person, definitely that the interviewer will be asking you this question: how did you handle your overall agile transformation? And most importantly, what is the strategy behind that particular transformation? Okay, now going back to the fifth question, can you describe the best practices in the agile way of working? See, here the interviewer wanted to know, are you aware of some of the industry wide best practices, right? See, for example, no, let us go back to the basics of agile. 1 minute, I'm just trying to check once in a while whether the Zoom settings and the call is being recorded and the screen is being shared. Nothing apart from that. Okay, all right. Now, if you go to this particular question, right, can you describe the best practices in the agile way of working? See, let me go back to the basics. Agile thrives on certain important aspects: iteratively, incrementally, aligning to client centric business outcomes, eliminating the waste, factoring the feedback loop, and always embarking on a journey of a continuous improvement. Okay, now this is the definition what I give to Agile based on my 15 plus years of experience working in Agile projects and overall 24 years of experience in IT. So let me repeat those lines for the benefit of the larger audience. You iteratively build something incrementally, always aligned to the product goal, vision, the sprint goal, release goal, the PI goal. Whether you call it as a program increment or whether you call it as a planning interval in safe, ultimately it is a bigger container planning. Okay, we should not be so much carried away by small things. What is more important is beneath the iceberg, what is there beneath the sea, right? So just to stay focused, what are the best practices? Had you implemented something like an extreme programming, had you brought something like a shift left practices, like test driven development, behavior test driven development, acceptance test driven development, feature driven development, story driven development, domain driven design, do you have a sense of collective ownership on the code? Do you have something like a continuous refactoring mechanism? Do you have a code refactoring mechanism? Do you have a strategic refactoring mechanism at a business optimization layer? Do you have something like an enterprise reference architecture guidelines? All these things come under best practices. Okay, so the interviewer wanted to know, are you cognizant about all these industry trends? Where are we emerging towards? One, most importantly, had you used artificial intelligence, something like a Gen AI capability, to improve the overall effectiveness, efficiency in the day-to-day work? So these are all some of the best practices. Believe me, this question will be asked to you in the interview, so might as well prepare for that. However, if you wanted me to guide you in all these things, you can might as well connect with me. There is a process in place to become part of my Agile Mentorship Program. And if you are inside the funnel of the Agile Mentorship Program, definitely I will be guiding you in terms of all these things. Now, let's go to the sixth one. How do you resolve under conflict, handle conflict? See, this is very important. Why? Because Agile lives and breathes on something called a teamwork. Let me repeat the line. Agile lives and breathes on something called a teamwork. It is like a fish. If you are taking a fish out of a fish tank and then, unfortunately trying to put it on the land where you do not have the water, fish cannot survive, right? Similarly, Agile cannot survive and thrive in an environment when there is no teamwork or team bonding. That's why I say Agile lives and breathes the teamwork. Now here, whenever there is a disagreement, as an Agile coach or as a Scrum Master or as an RTE or as an Agile project manager, program manager, whatever be the role, these are just roles or titles, right? However, in all these roles, there is a common degree of overlapping capabilities. Now, what am I trying to tell is, do you have that mindset to look more from a solution space rather than keep on brooding on the problem space? And are you able to generate alternatives and then move the team from a divergent zone to a converging space? Means like, to move the team from a converging zone means move the team from a diverging zone based upon the alternatives and then try to converge at a point to find the solution. So team handling and conflict resolution is one of the behavioral questions which will be definitely asked in the interview, so you might as well prepare for it. Now the seventh question is, how do you coach a product owner, and what are all the areas you coach the product owner? See, you all might be knowing, right? Product owner is the business value maximizer, so definitely coaching should also be given to the product owner. It is not what just the team. So probably on prioritization techniques, or your agile onion planning model, or how to slice a story vertically, your uh, invest model, your cano technique, your WSJF, all these things matter over a lot. And if in case there is a friction between your product owner and an architect, how do you jump in and then try to resolve it? So these are all some of the things which you need to keep in mind. All right. So, so to continue with that coaching the product owner plays a critical side, right, in terms of setting the vision, creating a clarity on the horizon in terms of the upcoming or the emerging priorities. So definitely coaching the product owner is of a paramount importance. That's why I have included this particular question. Now the eighth question is, how about your contributions apart from your day to day project activities? What other contributions have you made at a delivery or at a business unit level? Okay, folks. So let me tell you one of the important point. Believe me, when I ask this question in an interview, almost 90% of the people do not talk anything beyond their daily task because they have not really contributed, right? So it could be like writing a white paper, creating a thought paper, or it could be like contributing to your agile center of excellence, like your lean agile center of excellence, or helping the teams to create no part time. So when I was working as an agile coach, a kind of a team level agile coach long back, what I was trying to do is I was partnering with the tools team, and I was trying to help the team to create some kind of accelerators, some kind of enablers, which can be later plugged on to some commercial tools like Jira, Atlassian, ServiceNow to expedite certain aspects. So this could be one of the question which may typically pop up in your interview. Okay, now the ninth question is, how will you decide which particular agile framework would you choose and what parameters is that you need to consider? So for this particular question, I'm going to share you now a real time sheet what I prepared. By the way, it is not a company material, it is not a client material, because if it is a company material, then how I can showcase you on a social media platform? Okay, this is a Excel sheet what I created, and it was already posted on the LinkedIn almost 3.5 years ago. Now I am going to share that particular sheet, which will be an enabler for you to make a decision which particular agile framework to choose. Okay, so let me go ahead and then share it to you people now. Just a minute. I think you should be able to see the sheet in front of you. Here I have written parameters to be considered, and here I have put the frameworks, right? Now, wherever you see that green color cell intersection, it means this particular framework is going to support this particular capability. See, now one point you may need to consider in the mind is, when I was interviewing a candidate in the past. By the way, that candidate had completed CSM, PSM, CSPO, PMP, PMI, ACP, even scaled program consultant certification. But I asked that candidate a simple question. Hey, by the way, what are all the parameters you will consider to select a framework? That saying it with understanding, because that proper perspective, right? Because context matters, agreed, but what are all the parameters you will consider? What are all the attributes or parameters you will consider within that context to make a decision which particular framework will be the closest fitment? That is more important. For every question in the interview, if you are saying context, now, like, it all depends on the context, it all depends on the context, 100 percentage you are not going to get the job. Because do you think that interviewer don't know that it all depends on the context? Interviewer knows better than you, at least in that subject, right? That's why he is given, by and large, certain exceptions could be there. Typically when a person is an interviewer, it's been believed that he is an expert in the subject and he has proved his capability in the subject again and again. That's why company has put him inside the panel, him or her. If you tell context matters for most of the questions, most likely they will not select you, right? So do some homework, do some preparation. All these things, all these things matter, because tomorrow when a real time situation come, how will you do it if your mind is not trained now? Okay. By the way, in my Agile Mentorship Program, these sheets are part of my mentoring and coaching to my uh, mentees. Here I have written some few comments. Say, Dad, discipline agile delivery. By the way, it's not a framework, it's a toolkit, like your first aid kit, right? Similarly, my own framework, customized agile framework. Similarly, we have something called as a BAF, business agility framework. So just try to do some homework and then go for the interview. Okay. All right. Now let me go back to the Word document quickly. Let me share the screen again. I'm sharing the Word document. Okay, so that is something I have already mentioned. See, for example, now let me give a live example. In my 1 minute, I'm just trying to check the recording. All right. Okay. So in my one of my previous project, we have started with a Spotify model. You have your chapter, your guild, and tribe. So people knows the Spotify basics. I'm not going to repeat it here. The point to be kept in mind is we started with a Spotify model or a framework. Later, my client said, "Hey, Balaji, we also need a kind of a portfolio level governance for our dynamic budgeting, portfolio level governance for our value stream based funding model." So immediately what I did, I have taken the best principle of lean portfolio management from SAFE, and then I blended it harmoniously with the Spotify framework, and I created my custom framework called the Spotty Safe model. Even now today, if you go to Google and type Balaji plus LinkedIn article plus Spotty Safe model, you can see my article what I have written 3.5 years before. Okay, so go through that particular article. So it is not about the framework, it is about also understanding the limitations of the framework, which framework will work out where, to what extent, and most importantly why. All these nitty-gritties and subtle nuances you need to keep in mind, otherwise it is very difficult to climb up the career ladder, right? So from that perspective, I'm sharing the ninth question. 10th question is, how did you ensure that the agile team will be on the path of a continuous improvement? Probably no, implementing the retrospective action items, implementing or doing an agile maturity assessment, and then trying to do a gap analysis, coming up with a 30, 60, 90 days coaching plan, and then implementing the coaching plan, implementing the sustainability playbook. So these are all some of the high level answers. Okay, you need to frame your answer because they wanted to know your experience. Interviewer doesn't wanted to know Balaji.T's experience unless and until I am the interview candidate, right? So I am just giving you some pointers on a high level so that you know exactly at least where to put your effort. See, you are actually willing to learn more, okay, which is fully appreciated, and you are actually willing and you have that aspiration to climb up in the career ladder, which is also truly respected, phenomenal. But unless and until someone tells you where do you need to put your effort, how will you come to know exactly? That is where the role of a coach or a mentor comes in, right? So in this particular video, I'm playing the role of an improvement enabler to give you some high level thoughts. Now you need to uh, double click on it and then continue the journey. Okay. Now, can you tell me about what tools? Probably you may need to talk about your Jira or your Rally, your CA, Agile Central, or your Service Now, whatever be the tools. Okay, at least some questions will be there. Other thing is your okay. This question is very important because the interviewer wanted to know, apart from team level agility, had you done something at a program layer, something at a portfolio level? Okay, now before I go and explain to you people that answers for 13, 14, 15, right? Let me uh, let me try to socialize you to my website, wherein you can take a look into the multiple course offerings or the multiple lesson plans or the curriculum what I have created as part of my Agile Mentorship Program. And then no, you can actually decide what will be the lesson plan or the course which will be very closest to you, considering your current state, considering your current capabilities, and also your career or your future career no, a future trajectory projections in terms of your career trajectory. Now let me go ahead, and this time I'll just try to take you to my website. So if you go to this website, right, Balaji Agile uh, .com, you can might as well go click here, fill the form, and try to download some sample interview questions. This is my own. customized uh, agile framework what I created in the past. And these are all the different levels we have across the career ascension. These are all the different levels which I support, and these are all the different lesson plan what we have. Level 1 for Scrum Master, Senior Scrum Master, and a team level Agile Coach. Level 2 for becoming an enterprise coach. Level 3 for Agile COE head, Agile Transformation head, where your financial, where your strategic thinking, your strategic vision planning, and your financial acumen, your business acumen, everything matter, not just about Agile capabilities. And then your project management for aspiring project program portfolio and IT uh, delivery managers. We have a separate lesson plan called Agile 4P. I also have 150 Agile interview question and answer, wherein I give the question, I give the answer, also the context, the intent, and the purpose behind the answer, not just match the following between question and answer. And also a kind of a JD based coaching, role based coaching, on the job coaching. Also I have a lesson plan for product owners and product managers. Agile, also I have a lesson plan for architects. I have a separate lesson plan for organization change management, digital transformation. Agile for CXOs who are like AVPs, VPs, SVPs in some of the reputed companies. Okay, now believe me, it has taken tremendous hard work. It has taken tremendous commitment, dedication, focus for me to design this program. And this program has been rolled out from March 2021. Right. So we have already completed 4 years successfully in this Agile Mentorship program, and somewhere around 160 people, 160, are currently in my AMP. So this program I created out of my experience of 22 years in IT, like approximately 24 years in IT and approximately 15 plus years of experience in Agile. Earlier, basically long back ago, I was working in ThoughtWorks, and ThoughtWorks was one of the pioneers in Agile implementation, right? So this particular program is created more from a practical, pragmatic approach, and not just a bookish language, bookish, bookish knowledge or a certification knowledge. Okay. Now, if you go to this particular thing, right, a teachable, which is a okay. So let me share that particular thing to you people now. I'm just closing my website. Now I'm just going to share you the teachable, where you can see some of the modules pertaining to my program. So if you go through this link, right, Agile Mentorship Program, right, um, I'm just trying to click on it. It actually takes you to a dashboard where you have users and the courses. If you click on courses, these are all the courses which I created, right? You can see, of course, for some people I shared the recordings and template, all those things on the Google Drive, Google Drive folder. So these numbers are approximate numbers. Don't take it in a verbatim manner. You have some enrollments in level 1, level 2, level 3, and somewhere in uh, Agile 4P, and also in 150 Agile interview question and answer, and Agile product owner, product manager. And this is a recording pertaining to my mastermind webinar. Whenever I do an inner circle webinar only to my mentees group, that particular recording has been there. And I also creating a program called Agile Power Pack Power Pack series. So just to cut a long story short, if you click on L1 AMP, it will actually show you, it will actually take you to a place where you can see your chapter 1, chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 24 or 25, depending upon the lesson plan. Okay. All right. Now let me close unwanted this particular tabs just to stay focused. I'm just once again going to that same Word document. In the meantime, let me also close that Excel sheet, Agile Framework Selection Enabler. Those details are part of my Agile Mentorship Program, and only my mentees have access to this. I'm just once again sharing the screen to take you to that word this particular Word doc. Okay. Now that the 12th question, talks about your experience in program level transition, portfolio level agile transformation, and not just a team level agility. And your 13th question is, how do you coach a technical lead or an architect in terms of creating an architecture runway, in terms of having a proactive enterprise reference architecture guidelines, all those aspects. Okay. Now, the 14th question is, what about your contributions in helping the project manager, right? See, typically, pragmatically, if you are an agile coach, it is not enough if you know only agile ways of working. You also need to know how to write an RFP, how to respond to an RFP, request for a proposal, how to help your project manager, or how to help your program manager, how to partner with your delivery manager to do the budgeting. Because your safe talks about lean portfolio management and dynamic budgeting and all. If you don't even know the conventional budgeting, how are you going to do dynamic budgeting? In my experience, I have done umpteen budgeting. We have a concept called a CPD, corporate pricing deck, where we go and set the EBIT margin or the EBITDA margin. Then we will do the reverse calculation on the bu- budgeting. We are not going to uh, no open the PMBOK PMP materials by the side and then do the budgeting. That is not how the industry works. By the way, I'm not trying to look down upon the certification material. I myself a PMP guy long back. All that I'm trying to say is, those things are to begin the journey, not to end the journey. You cannot open your certification material by the side and then run the project. In a pragmatic world, how does budgeting is been done? If it is a dynamic budgeting or something, we have something called the zero based trifecta. Okay, we have something called a zero based trifecta. Your safe talks about participatory budgeting, which is one way of doing a dynamic budgeting. Now, the point to be kept in mind is, it also depends on your agile contracting model, the clauses of the SOW. Everything needs to be factored when you are trying to converge your thoughts on the agile pricing model. We have two types of model primarily. One is a linear model, second is a non-linear model. Within linear model, so many types. Within non-linear model, so many types. Which one to use where and to what extent, and most importantly, why? Because every budgeting model comes with its own pros and cons. You need to know how to take the trade-off call dynamically. And most importantly, depending on the budgeting model, the ownership will vary between the client and the vendor. Who is going to take ownership of the scope, cost, and time will typically vary between the client and the vendor, depending upon the selection of the pricing model. All these things you may need to keep in mind. So, as an agile coach, you still need to know all these things. It is not enough if you know only frameworks. Okay. And the last question is, how do you balance system of delivery, which is your product roadmap, your agile uh, release planning, your milestone planning, system of transformation, which is called as your agile transformation roadmap, and your coaching plan, and your system of a improvement, SOA, which is like a Kaizen roadmap. And how will you coach multiple teams? Because when I was working as an RTE in the past, like I was given 11 teams to coach, and I cannot literally go to all the 11 teams and then do the coaching, right? So I have segregated them into hard coaching, soft coaching. Soft coaching is a team where I do only facilitation. Hard coaching is a team where I really hold their hand. I actually handhold them to get the things done. And on what basis I have segregated? Depending upon the agile maturity index value of that particular team. So all these things you may need to know. Okay. So, okay, bye. So, by the by, this particular video is an humble attempt from my side to help you agile aspirants, saying that, folks, whatever be the interview, it could be for Scrum Master, RTE, Agile Coach, Project Manager, Product Owner, Program Manager. It is always better that you prepare and go at least for these 15 questions. Of course, your resume, your JD, your answer to your already asked question is in fact going to drive the next question. But if you don't even know the answers to these 15 questions from a pragmatic manner, believe me, not only getting offer letter is difficult. Even if you get an offer letter, tomorrow it will be very difficult for you to add sustained value in the ecosystem. Because if there is a capability gap, believe me, the company will find it out within a week's time. The way you talk, the way you communicate, the way you represent yourself in the meeting, that particular vibe itself will actually call it out. Okay. Okay, so I have just made an attempt in this video. If any one of you actually felt this video has given you some value, please please like this video. Please feel free to subscribe to my uh, YouTube channel and forward this video to your friend circle, your colleagues, your clients, your peer circle as appropriate. And if you wanted me to personally mentor you one on one, to guide you in your career trajectory and to expedite your career trajectory using agile as one of the capability, then probably you can reach out to me. Probably I can give you some time on my calendly link, and then I can give a zoom call. We can have a zoom call to find out avenues of possibilities in terms of where we can work together in the future. Okay, all the best. Keep in touch, and hope to see you in some other video soon. uh, ch- Cheers and good luck to all. Bye.